Now, I mentioned in your apartment project that I want you to include some rendered images, and we haven't really talked about that. I know you guys know how to come up here and grab a camera view and go click, click, and show what the inside of something looks like, because we've already had to do this. We've had an inside view of the kitchen, and yes, I could grab this and drag it out to where I can see more of what the inside actually looks like, and switch the colors on this instead of being black and white or wireframe to being realistic, and it kind of looks real, but not really. So I do want to show you something else. It's under your View tab, and it's called Render. And there are different render qualities. We're just going to be practicing with draft because we're going to run into a few issues. So I just clicked, and I'll show you, because it does take a little while for it to go through this whole process. There's a draft thing here, and there's other qualities we could have picked, and I just click the render button. So now I'm waiting on this to do its thing, and it doesn't show a whole lot until we get to about 50%. So right now we should start to see some images, and you might be thinking to yourself, uh-oh, because yes, I see picture, but it's pretty dark. And if you remember when we went through and we did this whole practice house thing, we didn't add any lights in here. I don't even know if there's any windows in here. Let's look at our first floor. There's some windows here in the kitchen. Not a whole lot. I think that's what that is. Let's take a look at it from the outside real quick. Yeah, we have windows in the kitchen. What we don't have though, oh, apparently we have random lighting fixtures. Let's get rid of those. What we don't have are any lights in the ceiling. So let's go to our first floor ceiling plan. Double click there. Let's make sure you have a first floor ceiling. So if you highlight all this, you can go filter, and if ceiling pops up, you're good, and if it doesn't, you may need to go back and add one. So to add one, you click on modify, in architecture, ceiling, you get the automatic ceiling option, which is kind of nice. You just click, and now you have a ceiling. I'll check one more time. Highlight everything, filter, yep, ceiling. Okay, now to add lights in here, you want to place components. Also, you want to make sure you're in the ceiling plan and not the floor plan. So first floor ceiling plan, and I have a couple of these little pendant lights. I'll put those around in my kitchen. So I'll put 3 of them over here. I'll put another 3 of them over here. Uh-oh, what happened? There we go, it went away. That's good. Wouldn't mind having these line up with each other. You know what? For the purposes of a practice video, I don't know how important that really is that these line up. Oh, it's being a little nicer now though. Maybe if you zoom in closer, it'll assume more things. And you know what? I also want to bring these guys up because I think with where they were, it's a little too close to the cabinets. Not sure where the cabinets are, but I do want to keep those away from it. Let's right click on here and go to select all instances in the entire project, which should just be those 6, and let's pump up the wattage on those. So instead of 100 watts, let's go to 150 watts. Now, same kind of thing. Let's go back to our first floor plan. We're going to still go and grab our camera and do a click click. Now we can see where all the lights are in our kitchen, and you can pick different kinds of lights. I'll show you where that is after this. Alright, and then go back to your View tab, Render, and we're just going to leave it on draft again to see what happens. You know what, I'm going to cancel it before Yes, stop the operation. Before anything too bad happens, the scheme was sun only. We probably want sun and artificial lights. Artificial lights are what we just put in there. Now let's try to render and see what happens. And if the stars align just right, we should have a fairly well lit kitchen that looks more like a realistic view than what it did before. And we're waiting, and we're waiting. I'm going to pause this for you so you don't have to wait with me. Alright, so this is the draft quality, and it's pretty crappy quality, but it still took like over a minute for this to render. And what I mean by bad quality is that all of the edges on here are kind of messed up looking, but you can already tell this looks a lot more like a kitchen than this little color view over here with the realistic colors looked. This is what you want to be using when you're taking the virtual staging pictures of your apartment project, to include those in there. Right? And one thing I will recommend that you do so you don't waste up all your class time, you have a rendering cloud option. So I can click on here, and if you have an account already signed up, which I'm guessing some of you, a lot of you, if you've already downloaded Inventor before, you have this already. So after you sign in, it says to, well, it actually gives you all the instructions you need. You don't even need me. So you will have a render gallery button up here, and basically you just tell it what 3D views you want to render, what quality you want from that, and it will let you know when your images are ready. So if I click continue, I can say up in the cloud somewhere, wherever that is, I want a high quality, or I want the best quality rendering of this kitchen that I can possibly get. So output type is still going to be a still image. Render quality is going to be final. Image size, I'm going to go for a large image. Exposure, I think this is 3D view 9. We don't want to render all 3D views because that'd be a lot. Well, 9 of them, I guess. And I guess that's it. Estimated wait time is less than 12 hours, or less than 2 hours. I'm going to have it email me when it's complete and start rendering. Now, I'll pull this back up and show you guys in class what this looks like, and just let this run in the background because it's going to take a while. But I want you to get the idea that this is a very powerful program, and the fact that you can render in the cloud instead of sitting and waiting for so long is a really cool option. So that's all I have for now. And also, a little trick for you. Let's go back to the whole render draft thing. You know what, now that we've made a rendering, I bet it's over here somewhere. Where do you think it went? I see families and groups. I don't know where it went. Maybe we had to save it. Anyway, let's go to view 9 real quick. If I go back to render this again one more time as a draft. Okay, a couple quick things about once you do have this rendered. You could just choose to export it. You should probably save it to your project. If you're a lazy person though and you want a quick way to put this into your flyer, the Snipping Tool can be your best friend. You just click a box and boom, there's the picture. You can copy and paste this right into your other project. I did promise I'd show you how to put in components. Let's X out this whole rendering bit. Let's go back to our ceiling plan first floor. For putting in light fixtures, I already had this pulled up for the pendant light. Let me show you where the rest are. If you click Load Family, it's under Component. You have a folder called Lighting, and stick with Architectural, Internal, and these don't look like much. The thing that I had here was the pendant light, and I'll show you. This is what the preview image looks like, and you saw what the rendered quality is. So don't be fooled by this. You can have floor lamps, you can have pendant lights, you can have different down lights. They're just kind of closer to the ceiling. These look much nicer when they're rendered than they do as a preview. So don't be worried by that. The preview is showing you how far out the light goes, the direction of flight. Okay, good luck, guys.